tuning in. This is Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Prime Robots in Disguise Deluxe class, Bumblebee. Now this Bumblebee is actually a completely different mold than we previously got with the first edition Transformer Prime figure. Now whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing remains to be seen. As you can see, nice new Transformers Prime packaging. I actually really do kind of like it. I don't think it's as good per se as the first edition stuff. As you can see, I think this is the Argos number. This actually came from the UK, courtesy of Kapow Toys. That being said, they are out now in retail. A lot of places, especially here in Southern California where I live, specifically Target stores, actually do have these. And I just came back from my local Toys R Us and they have this as well. So they are coming out. Flip around here on the side, warning, blah, blah, blah. Now the normal American version would have its tech specs here, but this doesn't. This just says warning and all that stuff. Flip around here, cool package shot of all the Autobots right there. Robot mode, vehicle mode, and you can already see the difference in terms of his actual robot mode. And then the bio, it just says that Bumblebee is a brave Autobot warrior and scout, and that's it. So, very simplistic. Now, I actually got this because I did the review of the first edition Bumblebee, and I was really kind of curious to see what kind of differences they did between that and the Robots in Disguise version. So, without further ado, let's get this guy open and see how cool he actually is. Okay guys, so here we have Bumblebee open up and out of its packaging. Now the very first thing that I have to tell you is that initially when I saw pictures for this, I was absolutely disgusted with how this figure looked. When compared to the first edition, this thing just really looked terrible. But now that I've actually gotten it in hand, played with it, and transformed it, I really actually like this guy. Now he is a lot smaller than the first edition figure, and I really think that collectors in general are going to be more geared towards the first edition. This one is a wonderful, wonderful figure for kids. And me, as a collector, I actually really enjoy this. He's really kind of fun. As you can see, when compared to the first edition figure, you do see that there is a really big size difference here. Now, unlike the remolded version of Cliffjumper, which really wasn't too much of a difference in terms of size, this one has a fair amount of size difference to him. One thing that I do really like over the first edition one that the RiD version I think got right is I really like the much darker tinted windows. I mean, this has that same kind of bluish tint, but this is a much darker tint. You can see his arms and stuff in there. You really can't see much of anything inside there. Well, he doesn't really have much of anything anyhow. I mean, that you can see a bunch of junk. He doesn't really have much stuff in there anyhow. But even if he did, it would be hidden by the darker plastic. One thing, hopefully it's coming across on camera. He does have a little bit darker shade of yellow. One thing that I am noticing though, there is a difference here in terms of the yellow plastic, and there's actually some yellow painted bits, and you can definitely see that. Hopefully that's coming across fairly well, but you can see the yellow plastic here, yellow plastic here. This is all yellow plastic. The doors, the yellow is actually painted. Same thing with the roof. You can kind of see the yellow back here and then yellow paint. That's kind of crappy. And again, these RiD figures don't have any Autobot logos. There's an Autobot logo there on the first edition. The RiD one, they don't have any Autobot logos, or Decepticon logos for that matter. The other aspect is he's got some tail lights here. The RiD version doesn't. And then I do like the silver rims on this guy. He's just got black, which is very reminiscent of the Dark of the Moon version of Bumblebee, which I like, but I kind of like the silver a little bit more. As you can see, he does come with cannons, which just plug right into the engine block right here, and he does come with two of them. That's one thing that a lot of people complained about with the first edition, that he only comes with one. He's got two of them here. Then for comparison, here is the new RiD version. Here's the actual first edition. It's a little bit smaller, mostly like not as wide. And you can see that this is made of a darker plastic than this one is, but not too terribly bad. And this one will still peg. If you had the first edition, this one still will peg in here, which looks a little bit better in my opinion, as opposed to the one here, which kind of goes up on the window area. I mean, that doesn't look nearly as good. This one looks a little bit better because it's set a little bit forward and doesn't cover up the windshield. You know, in terms of the transformation, this thing is actually really fun to transform. It's ridiculously simple, but for me, it's really fun. First, what I do is I come around here and I kind of loosen this up, and then I pull these out, and these are his legs. Fold that down, fold this down, and you can see his legs are very similar to the first editions, but definitely have an element that's different. Similar, but not exactly the same. But there you have his legs. Not too terribly bad. Take this section here, rotate this back, open up these doors out to the side, just like so. Come around here to the arms, Take these, come on, get loose. Rotate them down, just like so. Things are kind of loosening up here, and I don't want that to happen yet. Take this little section here, fold this under, kind of just set that right back there for right now. And then this is the really cool thing. You take here, you like push in here and push in here, separate, and it all like automorphs and transforms. I mean, that's really kind of cool. I mean, you can see that this kind of folds out. Watch real closely here. You fold that back, that pops up, and there you have him. And he's transformed. Now, one thing that I do have to tell you, that there's actually a mod that I did to this that makes him look a whole lot better. This is how he really kind of looked before, where his neck was really kind of sticking up, and that really kind of looked goofy. Biggest thing, I mean, you got like all this sticking up here. Now, I'm going to put a link in the description to show you actually how to modify this, and I highly recommend that you actually check it out and do it, because what that basically allows you to do, it teaches you to cut off a little peg right back here that allows you to push it all the way down, like so. You get it, kind of set it right down there, and now, at least for me, I mean, because normally it's up like this. Now it sits down lower, and it looks just a hell of a lot better. I mean, that's really not too bad looking, if you ask me. That looks pretty good. I mean, that's actually a nice representation of Bumblebee. Now, the biggest problem that I still have with it is this gigantic thing. I really would now see, well, I'm actually supposed to fold this back, and that kind of tabs into place back there. I wish that Hasbro actually designed a way where this section here could rotate around, because if you could hide that, I mean, that would look really cool. Now, one little final bit, just kind of take these arms, kind of angle these up just a little bit. Now, people have complained that the shoulders sit down a little bit low, and they do, and I wish there was a way that you could fix that, but they're really not that bad. I mean, that's actually not sitting back as far as I would like it to. There we go. There we go. But yeah, the arms are definitely weird, and you can see that the joint for it, again, goes on an angle, so when you rotate it, the arms are going to be moving inward towards the body. So that does kind of suck. I mean, the shoulders are definitely now, in my opinion, the weakest part of this figure in terms of the aesthetic look. But it's overall not too bad. I really like the wings on here. I think they look a whole lot more accurate to the cartoon. One thing that I really kind of wish, I wish all this stuff here was like kind of yellow painted so it would blend in a little bit better. That would probably help make him look a whole lot better in this kind of area as well. If I ever get the guts to do it, I could paint it, I suppose, myself. Now, in terms of his articulation, his head's on this ball joint, so you get a nice range of motion there. He does have light piping on the back as well. His arms, like I said, rotate here at the shoulder. They move in and out right up here, but it's kind of limited. They also rotate here at the upper part of the bicep. The elbow joints are on these really thick kind of ratchet joints, which I'm kind of surprised that they actually did that. That I don't see that too terribly often with figures. He rotates. Oh no, he doesn't. I thought he rotated at the waist. No, you don't. But at the hips, he's actually ball jointed, so you get a good range of motion there. Knees at a joint, feet at a joint. So, I mean, he's not too bad. I mean, you can get some good poses with this guy. Now, when compared to the original first edition Bumblebee, you can definitely see that, again, there is a size difference. It's not as noticeable in the robot mode as it was in the car mode, but you definitely can see that there is a bit of a size difference. The other thing that, you know, when you look at them side by side, you definitely notice how this has a more slanted downward chest, whereas this one kind of slants upward. And you really can see the difference in the shoulders, whereas these ones are kind of downward. These ones were a much nicer upward kind of look. But I also really like how the wings here on this Bumblebee are a whole lot more prominent, I suppose. I mean, these ones really kind of hang down and just kind of look ugly off of the side like this. I really like the new RiD's versions of the wings. I mean, I just think that looks a whole lot better in my opinion. But, I mean, when it comes down to it, the RiD version is not that bad. Again, this is still the primary figure that most people are going to want to have in their collection, but this is a great guy to get if you're on a budget. Now, to transform him back, again, he's actually pretty simple. Just kind of move this, angle this in, kind of fold that down, fold this section up. This all kind of clips together right up in here, right on the side, right on the side. Just like so. Can get this out of the way. Fold this back. These tab together right here. Well, maybe. Come on. Come on, Paul. There we go. Tab together. Fold these arms up like so. Do that on that side as well. Fold this whole section up. Oh, oops. Forgot to fold this bit out. Here. Get this out of the way. Fold that back. Make sure that you fold this section out. Otherwise, you may have problems. There we go. Tab that together. There we are. Fold that up. Rotate these down. That kind of pops into place like so. Take the doors. Close those in. Close those in. And here you have Bumblebee back in his car mode. Now, as I said, when it comes to the Bumblebee figures from the Transformers Prime cartoon, the first edition is still the best. That's the one that a lot of collectors are probably going to want to have displayed in their collections. But for the sheer fun of it, this Bumblebee is a wonderful little figure. I was absolutely floored when I got him, opened him up, and started playing with him. The vehicle mode, while definitely smaller, is still a nice representation of how Bumblebee looks. I do really wish that one of the biggest things from the first edition version that carried over would be the chrome tires. Unfortunately, like I said, these just being black just don't work for me. The transformation on him, while ridiculously simple and pretty much does it all for you, is actually really fun to do. In my mind, that's a gimmick that absolutely works. Robot mode, he does have some minor problems. If you don't do that mod, the neck and the whole head area looks really, really bad. Like I said, click on the link in the description if you have this figure to know how to modify this yourself. It's ridiculously simple, and it will hugely improve the look of the figure in terms of his robot mode. The robot mode itself is not a perfect representation of what we have for Bumblebee, but again, if you're on a budget, this is a great figure to get. I highly recommend picking him up, or at least considering him. So until next time, guys, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. I'll talk to you later.